Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Much love and appreciation to all of you. Now let's get started with this Dynamite recap, continuing AEW's tour of Canada. This Wednesday night, they were in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. We opened the show with Canada's own Chris Jericho going up against Komander. Fun match here to open the show. Crowd was actually into Jericho, maybe more than Komander. No surprise since Jericho is Canadian after all. Komander got quite a bit of offense in this match. He really brought the fight to Chris Jericho. Another attempt for Jericho to try and elevate somebody. We've seen him in these different feuds and storylines with people from MJF to Action Andretti. Komander got in his moves. Springboard Hurricane Rana, did a tornado dive over the top onto Jericho. Jericho eventually caught him with a very basic forearm to the face. Jericho gave Komander a hip toss to the outside of the ring. And after the commercial break, Komander tried to get back into it. Jericho started posing. He flipped off the fans. And this gave Komander an opportunity to get back in the match. And he hit a springboard shooting star press, but Jericho kicked out of that. Then Komander came off the top rope with a springboard Phoenix splash. Jericho kicked out again, tried to do another move off the top, but Jericho caught him this time with the code breaker. And then Komander, after kicking out, was finally put in the lion tamer and had to submit. Jericho picks up the win. Komander looks pretty strong in defeat, giving it his best effort. A very game Komander, as Michael Cole might say. After the match was over, Don Callis showed up and he came into the ring. Now he was trying to get Jericho to join his group, the Don Callis family, whatever he's calling it. He showed footage of himself and Jericho with Bad News Allin, aka Bad News Brown, in the 1990s, way back in the day. Callis brought up how Bad News is up in heaven, smiling at just the idea of Jericho joining the family. And Callis said he would give Jericho a little bit more time to decide. The plot thickens here. What's going to happen? Will he leave the Jericho Appreciation Society and join up with Don Callis? That remains to be seen. Backstage, we had Jack Perry in his car, and once again, Hook trying to attack Perry, actually getting into the car, but Perry still managed to escape. I guess we'll have to see what happens next week. The chase continues. It's like a cartoon. Don Callis was backstage and said that he will go to the ring to announce the fifth man for the Blackpool Combat Club's team at Blood and Guts. Said he will make the announcement alone. He's not afraid of Kenny Omega. Then we had an MJF and Adam Cole skit. They were in a bar. MJF wanted to party. There were 4 women that walked by. Cole said he's with Britt Baker. He loves her. He cares about her. So MJF went after the 4 women and I guess had his way with all 4 of them. He came back and now it was Cole's turn for some fun. Cole wanted to play Fight Forever, which MJF was not happy about, maybe because he saw some of the mixed reviews, not really sure. but he did agree to play, and they were having fun. MJF actually got to play a game with somebody else because back in the day growing up, he had no friends and he had nobody to play video games with him. He said it was fun. And Cole admitted that MJF is actually pretty cool. They kept playing, and in the video game, they won the tag team titles. Now, where is this all going? Like, are they just going to do the angle where MJF betrays Cole? Will Cole beat him to the punch? Like, this just feels like they're going to break up next week. But you know what? It's entertaining. Maybe they'll do something different with it. That would be the swerve. The swerve would be if this odd couple team continues indefinitely, because I expect it to end like next week or whenever, and then they do their match at All In. It just seems so obvious. It almost seems like a carbon copy of Y2AJ with Chris Jericho and AJ Styles, even right down to the t-shirts being made. And we'll get to that more here in just a second. We had Sammy Guevara and Danny Garcia going up against Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. You had Sammy and Orange taunting each other. Garcia took a cheap shot, and then we had Darby tag in. He went after Sammy. They went at it for a bit. They have their history, of course. And after the break, Darby was worked over for a while. Orange Cassidy got a hot tag. Orange and Garcia traded pin attempts, knocked each other out with double big boots. Darby and Sammy ended up back in the match, and then Prince Nana came down to the ring, and Nana gave Garcia a skateboard. The referee stopped anything from happening here, but this was all part of a setup because Swerve Strickland took a cheap shot at Darby with the referee distracted, and Sammy picked up the win with the go to hell. But I guess Sammy did not see any of that and was still trying to act like a good guy here. And after the match, he shook hands with Darby Allin. So the question is, will Sammy continue on his righteous path to being a good guy, or will he stay on the dark side? Who knows? We had a Nick Wayne video package to hype up his debut on Dynamite. He's only 18 years old. Talked about his father passing away several years back and wants to continue his dad's legacy. More on Nick Wayne in just a few moments. Then we had Roderick Strong backstage talking to Adam Cole, concerned that Adam Cole is starting to trust MJF. And then right as this was happening, MJF texted Cole saying that he saw Brian Cage backstage and now has the flu, just in time for their match. But as it turns out, MJF did make it for the tag team match. We had MJF teaming up with Adam Cole versus Big Bill, Big Willie, and Brian Cage. It was the big guys versus the little guys. Cole was actually wearing their shirt, which motivated MJF. MJF was trying to body slam Big Bill. He hurt his back. He tried to leave the match, but Cole talked him out of it. And for quite a while, the big guys were in control here. But then Bill took the shirt and wiped his ass with it. MJF got pissed off. That lit a fire under his ass. And he actually body slammed Big Bill. And the crowd chanted, "Holy shit." MJF is so great, by the way. He is such a student of the game, and you know he watched so much wrestling growing up, and he knows all the shticks, all the routines. Just a great entertainer, by the way. Wanted to throw that out there. So Cole got the hot tag. MJF and Cole were double teaming. They took out Big Bill, and then MJF hit Cage with the heat seeker, and Cole dropped the boom to pin Brian Cage. I mean, I think we all knew that Brian Cage was going to be the guy to take the fall in this. Entertaining match here. I liked it because it was different. Definitely had a different vibe to it. The big guys, of course, the big guys lose in AEW, but it was a different kind of match. It was entertaining. MJF did great here. And after the match, they got on the mic and they hyped up the final match of this Eliminator blind tag team tournament, whatever the hell they're calling it. And then Adam Cole said maybe they'll go on to win the AEW tag team titles. Now, backstage, back to Chris Jericho, Jake Hager approached Jericho. Hager's not happy about Jericho possibly joining Don Callis. Hager said he left an undefeated MMA career to join Jericho and AEW, and he wants to give 100%, but until Jericho can be straight with him, that cannot happen. And he gave his hat, the hat that he loves so much, and he gave it back to Chris Jericho. We had at 9:20 the women's segment, of course, 9:20. Ruby Soho versus Skye Blue. You had Skye trying to take care of Saraya and Tony, and then Tony sent Skye into the steps while the referee was distracted. Referee finally does something. The referee sensed something was up, so he kicked the Outcasts out of the ringside area. Skye's knee was hurting, but she kept bringing the fight, but eventually it caught up with her. Ruby applied a submission. Skye did get to the rope, but then Ruby picked up the win with the no future kick, advancing to the final match of the Owen tournament. And it's Athena versus Willow Nightingale in the other semifinal. And because a heel, Ruby Soho, was in it, I suspect Willow Nightingale will win and go on to face Ruby in the final. We had some footage shown from the men's Owen Hart tournament matches. And of course, this Saturday, CM Punk versus Ricky Starks in the final match. Then we had QTV with Harley Cameron doing a rap video to prove that she's the best rapper in AEW above Max Caster. And it was not bad. I mean, I'm not a rap expert by any means, but it was solid. It was solid for what it was. So yeah, usually in these types of scenarios, the heels try to outshine the faces and they're just terrible at it, but she was actually pretty good. So yeah, there you go. She surprised everyone, and she's got some swag to her. We had Swerve Strickland going up against the debut of Nick Wayne. Darby Allin was out there, gave Nick a hug, and this was a really solid match. I mean, arguably the best match on the show. Nick Wayne is only 18, and the guy can do a lot. I mean, for 18 years old, the guy is really impressive. Hung in there with Swerve, did a lot of cool stuff in this match. You had Prince Nana out there, and Nick actually was a smart babyface and just kept his momentum going and did not really seem phased by Prince Nana. I like that. I like that they actually made him a smart babyface here, and he did turn his back to Swerve at one point, so a little bit of inexperience. Busted out a reverse Hurricane Rana, and then he hit what they call the Wayne's World Cutter. Swerve got his foot on the rope, and then both were on top. Swerve countered a top rope Hurricane Rana with a power bomb, and then he took down Wayne with the last call kick, but Wayne kicked out. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," and Swerve was finally able to finish off Nick Wayne. So Nick lost his first match, but had a very respectable first match, hanging in there with the veteran Swerve Strickland. And Darby went to check on Nick after the match. Really solid stuff here, like I said. We had our final segment of the evening, which was Don Callis coming to the ring to reveal the 5th person for the Blackpool Combat Club at Blood and Guts, which is next week in Boston. But he started insulting Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega showed up, was ambushed by the BCC. So technically, Callis was out there by himself. But of course, the BCC was ready to go after Omega. Omega fought back, but then Pac made his return. Pac was injured with the nose. He had the face guard way back when we were seeing those best of 7 matches between the Death Triangle and the Elite, the trios matches, and he was gone for pretty much the entire year up to this point. But Pac is back, and this actually makes sense because Pac was injured and Omega, in those matches, just continuing to hurt Pac. And now Pac's looking for revenge. It makes logical sense. And he said that Omega has no idea how long he's been waiting for this moment. And he said that Pac said that Omega shattered his nose bone, and they took the chair, they wrapped the chair around Kenny's neck, and then Moxley put the mic to Omega's face, and Omega did confirm that they do have a 5th member for the Elite. And a lot of people were hoping for this guy. There was a lot of teases and speculation. It is Kota Ibushi. I can't even pronounce his name. Kota Ibushi. He is the 5th member of the Elite team. They're the Golden Elite. That's what they're called. And they did the little video package for him. The Elite then showed up and they cleared the ring. Kenny Omega got on the mic and vowed to beat the BCC at Blood and Guts and said, once all 5 guys are down, Omega said he'll be coming for Don Callis. And that's the end of the show. And it was a really solid Dynamite. Good build-up for Blood and Guts, and that cage match, could be the best Blood and Guts match yet. Last year's was a hell of a match, and they very well could top it this year. So overall, not too much to complain about. It was a lot of build-up for what's to come, like the Owen Hart tournament final matches and Blood and Guts. But for the build-up, it was very good. So I'm going a solid B for this week's Dynamite. Definitely better than Raw this week. So for all the people that say I'm anti-AEW, well, I think Dynamite was definitely, not even a question of it, a better show than Monday Night Raw. So there you go. And Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, could an Elite win lead to Callis recruiting Punk? Interesting. I would not be objected to that idea, but I'm not getting my hopes up. I just have this feeling that CM Punk is not getting involved in a storyline with the Elite. I'll believe it when I see it, basically. But the thing is, what about Chris Jericho? Is Chris Jericho going to interfere in this Blood and Guts match and help Don Callis' team win? Or if the Elite wins, then maybe Callis recruits Jericho to try and beat the Elite. But you would really think that this is the blow-off match. Where does Chris Jericho fit in with all this? That could be something that plays out next week. D. Martin 5th sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, Harley Cameron did the Iconics Impact theme song and did a track with Shotzi Blackheart and Scarlett about a year ago. All right, well, there you have it. Like she does apparently have a background in music. I did not know that. I really knew nothing about her up until the past week or two because I don't really care about the QTV. But yeah, she showed that she has some musical skills, some talent. There you go. And now Max Caster has to follow it up. I might have to pay more attention to the storyline now since she showed that she's not just there to to be eye candy for QTV. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Looking forward to next week, and I will be back Saturday night to recap Collision, and a lot coming up on the channel. We have Friday Night SmackDown. We have the No DQ review, Collision, Raw, and Blood and Guts. All that coming up on the No DQ channel. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already, and tell a friend. Spread the word on Twitter, Facebook, Threads. If you're on Threads, post a link to this live stream. Anything you can do to spread the word would be very much appreciated. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Take care, and remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.